These are some pretty chill deer. I guess they're all like this out west. While I was camping in Ephraim, Utah, I got a text from my friend Derek in Salt Lake inviting me up. He wanted to go riding for some reason. So I decided to hit the road and roll north into Salt Lake. As the last time I passed through, I didn't even think about him, and I felt bad about it. And yeah, this was my time to make up to Derek for just ignoring him as I passed through last time, and then not even turning around when he saw that I was in his state. So I headed north through an area that I haven't been through in quite some time. I came through here over a decade ago on my first big American adventure, and I missed the mountains. I missed this rugged landscape in eastern Utah, and it's I really liked riding around this area. This time through, it was pretty hot. Of course, it was a dry heat, like usual, but still, it's hot. And yeah, I could still remember this first ride up through these canyons here and rolling out into Provo, which is just south of Salt Lake, rolling into Provo and seeing these big, huge fans on the side of the road, trying to cool everything off. Yeah, it was good to be back here, rolling north towards my buddy's place. Got into town early, and I was killing time. As I rolled through Derek's neighborhood, I noticed something on the side of the road, some yard art. It's what I thought was yard art. This big goat standing on top of a rock. Big, beautiful horns, and I thought I'd turn around and go check that out. And then I realized when I got there, it was no yard art. It was not a statue.
That guy's crazy. I was like, hey, that's a cool statue. I've never seen a goat statue before. So then I got closer to him. I was like, wow, that's pretty realistic. And then I was like, oh, no, he's moving.
It was a very odd coincidence that I chose this object to turn around and go back and look at, as I will explain in a moment. But that was a cool stop.
Nice color. Nice horn. Nice horns, buddy.
As it turns out, as I rolled on to Derek's house just a few miles away, I was told not only that the goat was across the street from where I would be staying, but that goat is a very well-known ornament in this neighborhood and is a frequent topic of discussion. Friday morning funny story. I'm traveling out of Nevada into Utah, and a few of you might know, several of my friends are tracking me on Google Maps. Send them a link and they can see where I'm at. Hoping that maybe if we have a chance, a few of them can reach out and we can hook up and ride and camp or just hang out. And had a friend call me yesterday and say, hey, I see that you're in Utah. And says, why don't you come on up, we can hang out. You know, I don't have a guest bedroom, but my dad's got a horse barn close by. You can stay there. It's got a shower. And I was like, horse barn, yeah. I mean, I like horses, and you know, I'm kind of feral, so I don't need a lot. But a shower, that sounds good. Even a cold shower is kind of nice. So I said, yeah, I'm only 100 and something miles away. I'll be up this afternoon. He says, come have dinner with us. And I said, yeah. And I kind of thought something was up, but I didn't really know what to expect till I got there. You know, like I said, I'm a feral guy. I sleep outdoors. I've been outdoors since May, almost continuously, with maybe 10, 12 days indoors. staying at friends' houses. Yeah, no hotels, no nothing. Just, occasionally I get spoiled. My stay in Reno, I was spoiled. But I get up here and I discover that sleeping in a horse barn is going to spoil me most of all. Take a look. Now, the story of this magical horse barn, as I recall from what Derek told me, is that his father purchased this plot of land back in the 80s with the intent of building a home on it. And while he was waiting, he built this magical horse barn, which is now mainly used as a wedding venue. There are horses on the property, they just don't keep them over here. They keep them several 100 yards away in another enclosure. But yeah, this is pretty magical, as you can imagine. Since I have not spent much time in Salt Lake other than just riding through, I did have some repairs done here a few years back, but mostly what I do in Salt Lake is ride through in order to get somewhere else. And most of the time it's the Bonneville Salt Flats. But as you could tell, this is a nice, spacious property unbelievable landscaping, unbelievable architecture, and of course, a long winding road to get out to the electric gate at the bottom of the hill. And I think this is my second trip out. And I'm just going to do some exploring because when's the next opportunity I'm going to have a free place to stay and explore Salt Lake? And it had so much more than I had assumed that it had. And over here on the right, of course, is my buddy, the goat that's standing up on his rock. I got a chance to ride with Derek, and he was rocking the I teased him about his bike because Adventure Glide has a great story about the Harley Pan American, which is what Derek is riding in. I don't think he really understood. I tried to explain the best I could of the story of the Pan American as it relates to Jamie and his experience, but but yeah, he appeared to really enjoy riding it, and he's done adventures on it. And he's got the iconic shot of his haven out on the salt flats of Bonneville. So,
hi, I'm Derek from Haven Tents. I came to the Bonneville Salt Flats today to set up a hammock. There's not many trees out here, which means we'll have to go to ground. But one of the cool features of our system is that it can be pitched on the ground as a bivvy to help hold the rain fly up. You can use sticks or anything else that you find out there in the woods. So you can optimize the height of the rain fly. You want the hammock body to be barely touching the ground. Now, I've seen a lot of cool things from a Haven tent. This is unreal.
Utah just recently passed a filtering law, so you can filter like we did. Well, just like most countries in the world, and California. California also has a lane splitting, so you can move through traffic in between cars in their lane. It's called lane splitting. There's basically two different concepts, lane splitting and filtering. Filtering most countries have because you don't want people coming to a stop and the motorcycles or scooters being at the back of the line. Nobody sees them, and they just come crash into them and kill them and paralyze them and all that stuff. But yeah, he was pretty proud of the fact that they had just passed the filtering law in Utah. We've got up to the top of the hill in this little ski community, pulled over so Derek could put on some liners, some extra cold weather gear, because it got cold up here. It was cold at the bottom, and yeah, he geared up a little bit more, and we went up to the top of this amazing switchbacks here to the top of the mountain, and he told me a few stories of his hardcore snow skiing adventures in this place, and some notable people that he's hung out with. Yeah, we spent a few minutes here catching up and telling stories about the past before we started rolling down the other side of the hill. And I knew there were mountains around here, but I didn't know there were so many great roads around Salt Lake City. I had no idea. And I didn't know that there was accessible forest. And this is the side, if you want to come camping outside of Salt Lake. I thought about doing some camping here after I left Derek's, but it just turned out I wanted to make some miles. I wanted to get back to Colorado. I had been jonesing for my sweet high peaks of Colorado for long enough. But yeah, this was a fantastic day, hanging out with Derek, letting him show me the sights of the Salt Lake area and the mountains and the curvy roads, and there were some extremely curvy, tight switchbacks, and it was just a great day of riding and hanging out with my buddy. Well, man, I sure have enjoyed it here. This is my last day here. Well, my last full day. I'm going to spend the night again. I just texted Derek and said, man, I kind of want to go downtown and explore I want to go explore Salt Lake. So I said, hey man, can I one more night? Because he seemed like, yesterday's basically said, yeah, hey, stay say 3 or 4 days. I was like, kind of like the Ben Franklin quote. Fish and guest are good for 3 days. Something similar to that, which, I think he invited, I think initially when he said, hey, come on by, you can stay for a couple of days. It wasn't 3 days. So, I respect, you know what? I haven't gone this other way. I think I'm going to go turn around and go the other way. Just because I haven't gone that way. Beep, beep, beep. And since I can turn my motorcycle within a 24-foot radius, it's very easy for me to do U-turns. Yeah, it's real smoky today because, I don't know, California. Which is why I'm not in California. Yeah, I'm 2 states away, and still, it's what you get. Yeah, I figured I'd go poke around downtown and see what I could see in Salt Lake City and maybe some surrounding communities. Just because to me it's a blessing if you have the ability to stay somewhere for cheap or free in a place like somebody said, hey Don, drive to New York. I'd probably say, oh hell no. Ride my motorcycle to New York. I mean, I've ridden it through the state, but I don't really particularly care to ride my bike into New York. But if they said, hey man, come in town for a conference, everything's paid for, I'd be like, oh yeah, New York. I could probably come up with some interesting things to do in New York. I mean, if you can't find something to do in New York, there's probably something wrong with you. So the plan is, wow, look at that. All these, what's really interesting is it's not the only state, and it's certainly not the only town, but the ability to walk from your house to a trailhead, to me that's kind of cool. There's just something really cool about that. Even though it's really smoky and awful out here. But yeah, there's a lot of communities like that I've been through, well, at least in the Rockies, because I guess there's a lot of public land, and when it's not owned by the Fed, it's owned by the city or the county or whatever. Instead of back east, where everything's in private hands, everything's fenced off. Nobody gives you any kind of a place to relax and. Anyway, I just think it's kind of sad. And it's wonderful here. Look at all this. Look at all these little parking lots everywhere. Here's another trailhead. There's some parking. There's another parking place up there. And, yeah, it's just cool, man. Surprisingly large brain. It's not as big as beefy, but the brain is actually longer than mine, longer than ours, so it actually would have to stick out for its actually. Missouri Walkers. I think that's what you guys are. You don't like the ear hang? You like apples. I'll bring you some apples later on. Just wanted to get a good shot of you. Y'all are beautiful. Beautiful. Big, too. Big and broad. Uh-huh. So, did y'all have any deer in here tonight? That would be interesting. Last night there was a big old buck. Came in, and Derek was pointing at something. I didn't know what the heck. I thought he was like, that's where you're staying. Just, unload your stuff. Just get off the bike and go over there. That's your spot. And I was like, okay, cool. Little did I know that was my spot over there. Yeah, I just wanted to walk around the property one more time and just soak it all in, because it's kind of a little bit hard to grasp. And I was just thinking before, see if we can walk down this way. When I was riding back, we've got some groceries for tonight and in the morning, and I was thinking, man, I'm just so fortunate to have met all these people that have supported me along the way, financially. Several have opened their homes, and it's made my journey so much more enjoyable, so much more interesting. And I'm not really good with words and gratitude, and I'm quite sure that I'm going to fail expressing my gratitude to the people that have helped me get here and have helped me make this journey of mine so extraordinary. And I thought, well, let me just pull out the camera and see what I can do. Seems like I do a lot better when I can think about it before I say it, and then say it without the pressure of looking somebody in the eye and going, "Hey, man, I really appreciate this." But not just that, I can edit. If I say something that's not quite perfect, not quite appropriate, not quite what I meant to say, or even if I meant to say it and I look back on it at some other time and go, man, that doesn't sound quite right, because words have never been my strong point. Some of the things I'm really good at, if I have a lot of time to think about it, or if I'm repetitious, if I have lots of time to practice, or if I say it a good bit, I come off sounding exactly the way I intend to. Man, this place just goes on forever. I thought about riding my bike down here, but then I thought, okay, it's downhill. The gravel's really loose in some spots, and it's really deep. This looks a whole lot more manageable than I thought down here. But golly, it's like a golf course. It's just extraordinary. And there's a house over there that you can't really see, and there's, I think, a couple of houses over here that you can't really see. You can see that's the back barn door, but oh yeah, my barn doors are open. At least the doors to the loft. Anyway, I was trying to see, and this is what happens. I'm trying to express my gratitude and say it in some kind of a palatable way. I'll probably get crap on my shirt. And not sound hollow or insincere, as I'm totally sincere. It just may not sound like it if I don't know how, and if I'm saying it spontaneously, it's, hey man, I really appreciate you. But I think this is just the way I'm choosing to do it, just because it's I can edit it. I can scrap it all and throw it away. It really is embarrassing at how bad I am with words. But when I spend some time and sit back and think about it, it seems like I can get my words out a little bit better. But I still, I like to be able to go back and edit, and replace the words that don't really mean exactly what I feel, and use better phrases and all the things that I can do after the fact. And this is one of those times where I just really feel the need, and I have felt the need ever since I've gotten back off this journey, finding a way to express my sincere appreciation for not only the people that supported my journey financially, but especially the people that opened their homes to me and helped me keep moving. And that's just such a huge deal. Uh, the psychological support that I got just by having a nice soft bed and a shower, and sometimes a tool or two just to keep the bike rolling. It just meant so much to me, and I really wanted to express that appreciation in a way. And I don't really know how to do it other than talk about the fact that my last couple of months, pretty close to everything after leaving Utah, was financed by people that contributed financially. Bought me a coffee, bought a T-shirt, helped me buy fuel and food, and helped me stay out on the road for an extra couple of months. I just don't think I would have been able to do it without the support of my viewers, and I really appreciate that. And I don't know how to express it any better than I'm doing here. Yeah. So thank you for all the people that have helped me get through this journey and make it fantastic. Thank you all. I hope that sounds as sincere as I feel. Thank you. Now that all that uncomfortableness is done, join me next time as I roll out of very warm Granite, Utah, about 600 miles into very cold Granite, Colorado. See you then.